Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, I live another day today, hoping to be blessed for a better thing for me to do for this life. And here we are. I'm able to share with you something which is so much of our concern today, for the fact that we are all vulnerable to a substance which occur in the environment, a substance which play a part, a substance which is incorporated in our life, in the ecological cycles, and most importantly, this substance participate in food chains of the ecological organics, and alarmingly, this substance can be ingested by you and me. So before we continue, please remind ourselves that not to watch this video of mine, especially to my Muslim brothers who are attending the Friday prayers, especially when the Khatib is reciting the khutbah. And please refrain yourself from watching this video if you're occupied with your work, especially meetings with your bosses, your colleagues, your affiliates, etc. And while you're driving your car and ride your bike, and especially also when your wife calls you to bed. So please do not watch this video. Now I'm gonna bring you to the next slide, where this is our concern. Why I am here today, recording this video before you, in the intention to share this thought that normally we wouldn't want to think about, for a very simple reason: it is most undesirable to learn. Unfortunately, it is an inevitable element in our life today. I believe you have heard of the substance which I mentioned here, which is called dioxin. Why is it important? It has been published by experts around the world. It has been nurtured into what we learn in universities, by academicians around the world, especially those studying organic chemistry, environmental engineering, environmental sciences, and for those environmental practitioners who perform their duties in practice, have understood very well that the substance called dioxin is a graded substance in layman term. And the fact that dioxin is so stable that I was told by a toxicologist many years ago, in the peak of my studies, this substance is not destructible in any hazardous waste incinerator, even if the combustion chamber of that incinerator is operating at 1200 degrees Celsius. So what are we dealing with? So stable. And you and me today, we are utterly exposed to dioxin without even knowing if it is present or not in places where we could have been or where we are right now. This is something that we have to ponder. We have to understand what to do. Now, it has been also widely published, and there has been a lot of action in some parts of the world, especially in developed region of United States and Europe, or the American continent, the northern part of the continent, and in many countries in Europe, and the more developed Asian countries such as Japan, that this substance is, in fact, in many of these countries, they are being studied and published to us that this substance do occur or do participate in matters transformation, matters that participate in the various ecological cycles and those that even make up our food. Now, can you imagine a substance which is so stable that it cannot be destructed at temperatures 1200 Celsius, whereas you and me and many other environmental engineers, I'm not environmental engineers though, know very well that any toxic elements known to human today would be destructed at temperatures 900 degrees Celsius or more. I'm talking about incineration. Let's not talk about global warming due to all this heat coming out from incinerators, because today you have incinerators which is eventually being tapped. The heat is being tapped to boil water in boilers which generate steam and thus turn turbines to generate electrical power. I'm not talking about that right now. I'm talking about dioxin, this substance. Now, first of all, how do we get dioxin? From what I studied and through the course of my experience in my work, meeting honorable people who are scientists, toxicologists, ecotoxicologists, chemical engineers, they are talking in the same frequency when they are addressing dioxin. Apparently, it was made known to me that dioxin is being generated simply. One of the example, which is rather alarming to me, um, when we burn plastics made up of polyvinyl chloride. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a plastic expert. And I'm not a toxicologist, but I learned from these people in the course of my work. I was told that when a substance called plastic or PVC, polyvinyl chloride matter, is burnt, it emits fumes. And one of the most important and dreaded elements in the fumes from this combustion of PVC is dioxin. And I believe If you are a meteorological scientist, know the weather pattern, know wind direction, wind, what do you call, effects on air pollutants. You know about air pressure. You know about all the factors that so-called influence the climate of certain region in a regular manner. I believe you would understand that all these materials or elements, including dioxin, they can be transboundary. They can be moved from the source, for example, of its combustion, gets into the air, because I'm not given enough information about its vapor pressure, about its specific gravity, and how it behaves in compounds. Not yet, but I was told that it is airborne. It is airborne, it is waterborne, and it is soilborne. This material, therefore, can be transboundary from any of these environmental medias. That worries me and many others, but I am short of doing research on this. But since I'm going to talk about the law in this country, there is a law that regulates this particular substance called Dioxin and Furan under the Clean Air Regulations 2014 of Malaysia, of the Environmental Quality Act 1974. So I might as well talk about it right now. Now, if you look at this graphic, apparently dioxin is emitted from engine combustion. Now, you and me, we drive vehicles, and we are the popular fossil fuel hungry people, unless you are driving electrical car. You and me, we burn diesel, petrol, kerosene, name it. All right, and apparently we are emitting this exhaust after combustion from our internal combustion engine, which contains dioxin. Is it true? Please comment below if you are a toxicologist, if you are an environmentalist, if you are concerned about these substances, regardless of whoever you are. Please do comment in my video, at least enlighten people like me and other netizens who might want to know more about this substance, because for the fact that we were told dioxin is carcinogenic. So what have we done to deter its potential carcinogenicity to us in our life, beginning from our food? Take a look. It gets into the air from the combustion in cars. It gets into the air from the releases of industrial processes, and it gets airborne, meaning these substances gets airborne and they are free to go any parts of the world, into your homes, including into my homes, without any tagging. No need passport, no need identity card. I can go anywhere. As dioxin, I can go anywhere, wherever the wind, the water, and the groundwater, and the soil, and the food is bringing me around the globe. Think about it. Think about it. Are we contented for the fact that we can get cancer due to dioxin just by having a good medical insurance? Are we prepared in our mindset that we are going to get cancer and let it be? medical insurance is what we have to remediate this risk, environmental health risk that we are confronting in our daily life. Do you think that is the way to look at it? Or don't you think that we should do something better to inform the public, to inform you and me? Don't you think that we should know what we eat to begin with? Don't you think we should know that bottle of water called mineral water and other drinking products to be notified at least somewhere at its label that this drink is free from dioxin? Don't you think we should have that? Don't you think that we should have some information by the what do you call responsible agency to tell us that in our country the food that we buy from so and so place is free from dioxin? Don't you think we have that right? We pay tax, do we? Or don't we? Don't you think we should have that right? Think about it though. Now, there's another. Look, this is a graphic stating, illustrating, and representing combustion. And also, we can release dioxin from our homes. Excuse me. And we can release dioxin, look, into rivers, oceans. Where's the boundary? We can release dioxin into the soil. Look, this graphic is good. It's done by somebody who I would give credit if I know who they are. I just got it from a friend, and I believe it's taken from the internet. My gratitude to these people who share this information in the internet. They are noble people trying to get us to understand all this. Now, we can even release dioxin into the air merely by having combustion. Look, air, soil, and water are three very important media for our ecosystem, for the environment. And we now know that dioxin is present in these media. So, what do we do about it? Having this regulation is enough? Are we going to get contented just because our country has a regulation that regulates dioxin and we do not know where dioxin is? Do you think that is adequate? Is it enough for us to feel safe that we have a law that regulates or rather restrict the emission of dioxin, and that's it? Comply to the law. Now, let me ask you the question again. When you drink a bottle of water today, do you see at the label somewhere at the bottle stating that this drink is free from mercury? This food is free from mercury. This raw food in the wet market is free from chromium hexavalent, free from dioxin. And the air that we breathe when we frequent buildings, our office, has a guarantee that the air that you breathe in this building is free from mercury, dioxin, chromium hexavalent. What else? Furan. Cadmium, arsenic, thorium, and perhaps fugitive radioactive nucleotides. Is there any label in the building or in the food that we bought from the wet market? Now, you and me, we go and buy food, or perhaps preparing food, we buy fish, meat. Have you ever seen that the meat displayed for sale, apart from having the price tag, is associated to a statement that this fish is free from toxic substances such as mercury, chromium hexavalent, dioxin, etc. Or maybe would it be time that when we go to all these marketplaces to buy our food and drink, we should start asking about SDS? Have you ever asked for SDS when you buy meat from the frozen store? You know, a frozen food store, the groceries, the hypermarket. Have you asked for SDS when we buy the next sirloin, part of lamb, etc., meat, etc., fish, vegetables? Should we do that, or should somebody who is having the protocol of that duty to begin informing the public that, yes, in your region, this particular wet market has been inspected last week and it is free from, all the food sold in that market is free from mercury, chromium hexavalent, cadmium, selenium, Dioxin Furan, etc. Don't you think it's about time that we should know about it? Or purchase insurance and wait till you get sick? Is that what we want for our life? Think about it. I've been waiting to talk about this for many years, but no, I didn't have the platform. Coffee, everyone? And when I bought that coffee, Arabica, I saw the label. It contains some selected information, including minerals. That's about it. It's not stated in that coffee powder. It is free from dioxin, free from mercury, chromium hexavalent, whereas all these environmental toxic elements do participate in our food cycle, in our organic cycle, to be fair. Talk about organic cycle. The food chain, the prey predators, it participates. Take a look. It gets into the air and it gets deposited into farms. It participates in the soil sciences of this agricultural area and becomes part of the plants and probably part of the vegetables that is being grown in that orchard, or even grazing areas for, look, all these animals are human food. Simple as that. So it is in the food chain that affects human, you and me, and it becomes food. So we bring this on our dining table. We bought this from the market. Now at this point, where's the information? Where is the information that the egg that we buy, fish, meat, including that of poultry and other avians, were they really free from, or are they today really free from dioxin? Where's the information? Where is that information? Don't you think we have the right to know what we purchase for our food? Basic human needs. Where's the information? Now, I live long enough until today, and I think I need to get this information across to everyone, especially our younger generations who are recipient of the mistakes made by people like older people like me and elder generations, and we made those mistakes by allowing, not, well, of course, not knowing that we are generating all these substances in developing a world for the convenience and the so-called quality of life of human. All right, but we have to take the responsibility now to halt it, abate, as much as we have abated in some countries, have abated or control the uncontrollable spread of the COVID virus as we are facing today. As at the time of this recording, we are still in the midst of, in Malaysia, we're still in the midst of controlled movement, sanitization everywhere, QR code everywhere. Now, wouldn't you think that knowing dioxin is as much as the importance of those COVID viruses? Shouldn't we manage it in the same way? Shouldn't we know about it as much as we are battling with COVID today? So we are eating every day, with or without COVID. Don't you think we should have saved now? Well, the regulatory body all over the world has come up with all sorts of what they call concerns, and it's not that popularly published in our local media on a regular basis. It is only known to people who studied environmental sciences, who practice environmental management and environmental engineering. So those are the people who are not in the environmental arena but susceptible to these substances. Don't you think that they should know about it? As far as this law is concerned, these are all the limits. These are all the different strains of so-called dioxin. You can begin with the tetrachlorodibenzodioxin until you have got octa, 8 of them, 8 chlorine atom in the diphenyl dioxin. Octachlorodibenzodioxin. You've got so many strains, and this is only known to science. What about those not yet known? And this is the limit, the equivalent factor. I believe this is coming from experts in ecotoxicology. They come up with an equivalence factor, and the Malaysian law is using total equivalence factors, the conventional one, and in the international standard we do have some total equivalent factors for dioxin and furan, and today we even have World Health Organization total equivalence quantity for dioxin, furan, and PCB. Because PCB, they are considered to be dioxin-linked chemicals. All right, so for that reasons, it is serious and it is alarming, and we should do something about it. Anyway, I'll bring you to the next slide. This is about furan, the cousin or the sibling of dioxin. And look, what else of similar carcinogenicity or mutagenicity that is not yet known to us, but should be informed to us, so that we play a part in our society in abating or controlling the contamination in our food chain by all these dreaded substances. I think it is about time that we all play a good role, not just depending on the law to work. We hope that the people responsible in ensuring the food safety of the citizens in the country play more active, proactive role in disclosing samples of raw food or food materials which are contaminated with dioxin, furan, and PCB. And it is our responsibility to shelve them out of grocery stores which sells them, as much as what has been done during the earlier, I think it was in the last decade, that some European dairy producers were alarmed for the existence of dioxin in dairy products, and it has caused the shelving out of those dairy products from wherever they could find the brand, and that is a very responsible manner. But today we do not know whether our food, drink is really free from all these materials, dioxin linked compounds. At least inform the society that we are purchasing food from in this country, and it is guaranteed by whoever is having the protocol to publish facts about that this food is free from dioxin for the people to purchase, cook, eat, and live with it. Don't you think that is supposed to be done? Well, I leave you with that question. I have shared with you. As far as dioxin and furan is concerned, it is being regulated in this country under Clean Air Regulation Fourth Schedule, which is applicable for other industries which is not listed in the first schedule of the Clean Air Regulation. So for other industries, for those industries who are not listed in the first schedule, here you are. Your dioxin and furan limits is given in these two slides. So I thank you for your attention. I want to share the knowledge and all those questions which were very common among us who are concerned about our environmental well-being, especially in developing nations or newly developed nations like Malaysia, where we have got abundant of food which is being produced locally and imported from other countries. So I believe it's about time we know at least what this food contained. Does it contain contaminants like dioxin and furan, at least, including that of chromium, hexavalent, mercury, cyanide. Cyanide is easily destructed, etc. All right, so I leave you with that. I thank you for your attention. Hope to see you in the next video. So as a Muslim, I wish you Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Have a good day. Have a healthy state of physic, energetic, And I wish everyone who's watching this video and those who are not to be protected against the contamination or infection of any diseases, including the COVID virus. Thank you very much. Take care.